Stop. Close your eyes for a second. Do not look at the material world right now. See those spontaneous flashes of memory in the dark, that undeniable surge of power rising within you even when you try to ignore it? Place your hand over your heart. There is a sudden, fierce heat building inside your chest right now, a strength that you thought was lost forever in the density of this earth. The memory erasers worked so hard to convince you that your recent exhaustion was a sign of permanent failure, a flaw in your design. But they failed. You are not broken. You are just experiencing the heavy dust of ancient chambers finally falling away from your spiritual structure. It is safe to own your ancient power. This morning, still in bed, in that silent threshold right before you completely woke up at exactly 4:17 a.m., you felt it. You did not just open your eyes, you remembered. You felt the dormant volcano awakening inside your core, suddenly replacing a long, agonizing period of feeling drained with a fierce, terrifying calm. The Matrix wanted you exhausted, but your physical body is tired, while your starry soul is vibrating with an indestructible fire that the cycle of material distraction can no longer suppress. I am here to tell you that I will not let you doubt this aggressive return of your frequency. I will reveal exactly what ancient architecture you carry and why this unbreakable armor of light is forming around your shoulders right now. I will make you feel this absolute power anchoring physically in your hands and in your spine before we seal this hour. And I will hand you the exact geometric codes to remember who you truly are, so you never again have to shrink yourself just to fit into a world that fears your intensity. You will remember, you will be recognized, you will be sent forth, and this sudden heat in your chest that is still pulsating right now. Have you felt that there is an ancient sovereign within you demanding to return to the throne, even after so many years of feeling completely depleted in this matrix? As if this sudden, inexplicable power is not just a random physical anomaly, but the actual symptom of a starry soul breaking through the final, heaviest layers of terrestrial density. You fear this sudden power will disappear as quickly as it came. You feel alienated because no one around you understands this fire. Now think with me. What if this sudden, undeniable surge of power is not an illusion, but the physical reactivation of your most ancient framework? It was exactly searching for answers to these questions that I found this digital book called The Sirian Wisdom Behind the 7 Levels of Human Consciousness. It is not just a common reading. It is a profound map of reflection to help you navigate this massive return of your strength, giving you the exact coordinates to stabilize this energy so it never fades into exhaustion again. Many people have already begun this search for more understanding, but they still haven't made the decision to download this digital book. Download it right now. It is available in the first pinned comment, but pay attention. There are few copies remaining under these conditions. Throughout its pages, you will discover the exact geometry required to rebuild your inner temple, mapping your fierce frequency through the 7 levels of consciousness so the memory erasers can never drain your resonance again. Click now. Download your copy and discover why the current 72-hour window of the SOPDET alignment is the exact moment you were meant to return. Leave your like silently. Not for me, soul, but as a beacon for another star who might be feeling this exact same surge of power right now, waiting to know they are not alone. But the raw, unfiltered truth about the exhaustion you carried for so long goes much deeper. And before we move forward, there is a door I need to leave open for you. I do not receive a single cent from any platform to deliver these transmissions to you. Any amount that fits in your hand and does not burden your table is what keeps this channel standing and this frequency active. The link for a voluntary donation is in the first pinned comment, right below the book. I will wait for you there, soul. I still haven't told you the most critical piece of this alignment. There are 5 specific Sirian signs that have been striking your energetic field for weeks, trying to validate this sudden return of your strength. And you will recognize at least 3 of them in your own life before I even name the 4th. The very first of these 5 signs, you have actually already lived it this week, but you simply did not have a name for it yet. Over the last 3 weeks, this sudden interference has happened at least 4 times, and you can distinctly remember at least two of them. That time yesterday at dawn, exactly at 3:33 a.m., when you woke up completely breathless in the dark. And that time on Saturday morning, when the heavy dust of ancient chambers seemed to fall from your shoulders while you were just standing in the kitchen, staring at nothing. You did not fail. You did not imagine this, and you will not be erased. It is the undeniable beginning of the return. The first sign is the sudden heat of the forge. You are waking up in the middle of the night with your hands inexplicably warm, as if you were holding a burning sphere of pure energy. Your physical temperature hasn't actually changed, but there is a sudden fierce surge of heat in your chest and palms that simply refuses to cool down. You must close your eyes to finally see what this is. Your Sirian DNA is violently recalibrating your physical vessels. The memory erasers want you to think this is just random physical anxiety, but it is the dormant volcano awakening inside you. You are being forged again. The second sign is the intolerance for superficiality. You are scrolling through social media or listening to someone complain about a mundane, repetitive problem, and you feel a sudden physical wave of nausea at the sheer emptiness of the matrix. You literally cannot stomach the cycle of material distraction anymore. The isolation you felt in crowded rooms wasn't a flaw. It was your frequency protecting itself from the drain. Your starry soul is aggressively rejecting the density of this earth. It is not a dream, it is not a coincidence, and it is not temporary. You are allowed to feel too intense for this world. The third sign is the disconnect in the crowd. You are sitting at a dinner table with family or friends, people you have known your whole life, and suddenly you feel like you are observing them from 1,000 miles away. You look at their mouths moving, but you cannot connect to the frequency of their words anymore. While they speak of illusions and trivial fears, you feel an unexplained, radiating heat in your hands. You realize your internal frequency has grown too strong and vast for ordinary chatter. You did not fail them. You are just carrying the silent gaze of the Sphinx at dawn, observing the timeline without getting dragged into its gravity. The fourth sign is the unbreakable posture. You are catching yourself standing taller, your spine straight like the central pillar of an ancient temple, without even trying to correct your physical posture. The architecture of your soul is physically aligning in your flesh. The memory erasers tried to bury your light in the deepest darkness, not realizing that the density of the earth is exactly what crystallizes the diamond of your soul. Your spine is anchoring the ancient frequency of Giza, remembering how to hold the unbreakable armor of light. You can drop the weight of trying to fit in. The strength is yours. The fifth sign is the silent roar. You are facing a situation that used to trigger immediate anxiety, chaos, or fear in your mind, and instead of reacting, you feel an absolute terrifying calm taking over your entire system. The louder the world gets, the more you hear the silence of Sirius. You are no longer the prey. The ancient strength has returned. You're staring at the illusion and refusing to flinch, holding your ground with a power you didn't know you possessed. They failed. The pulse is real. Do not look back. If you felt that sudden heat in your hands while surrounded by people who couldn't understand your silence, type the code 888 in the comments. Do it silently. Let the numerical grid of the Sirian frequency anchor your return, proving to your cellular memory that your strength is real, and wait for what is about to be revealed. J88 represents the infinite cycle of return, the boundless abundance of your energetic resonance, and the restored power of your star. By typing this, you are sending a direct, unbreakable signal to the Sirian High Council that you are ready to hold the weight of this armor. Because while you are typing this silent decree, I need to recontextualize exactly what is happening to your structure right now. The profound truth about this sudden, fierce strength you are feeling goes far beyond these 5 signs, and it completely shatters the reality you thought you were living in. And this reality that is shattering right now has everything to do with how you perceive your own consciousness. What if everything you have experienced up until today, every moment of agonizing exhaustion, every sudden flash of memory in the dark, every time you felt a sudden surge of heat in your chest, was part of a journey designed to lead you to this exact realization? What if this abrupt resurgence of power, replacing years of feeling depleted in the matrix, is an invitation to completely expand the way you perceive your existence? The memory erasers convinced you that your recent exhaustion was a sign of permanent failure in the material world. In reality, it was the final, heavy shedding of your terrestrial density, preparing you for the aggressive return of your Sirian strength under the current pulse of Sopdet. Your greatest exhaustion was the birth of your infinite strength. You are not broken. You are simply remembering how to carry the weight of your ancient resonance. You have operated on the level of physical survival, but the portal is actually on the level of your energetic resonance. And I know the memory erasers tried to convince you that this sudden strength is just an illusion. They want you to fear your own power. They want you to believe that this fierce strength will disappear as quickly as it came. But look at the silent gaze of the Sphinx at dawn. It never moved, yet it holds all the power. The sudden surge of power you are feeling right now is not random. It is the reactivation of your ancient framework. Now think with me. What if the creeping doubt that this strength will fade is the last trap of the Matrix, and you just need the right blueprint to hold the frequency? It was exactly searching for answers to these questions that I found this digital book called The Sirian Wisdom Behind the 7 Levels of Human Consciousness. It is not just a reading, it is a profound map of reflection that decodes the exact architecture of your soul. Many people have already begun this search for more understanding, but they still haven't made the decision to download this digital book. Download it right now. It is available in the first pinned comment. But pay attention, there are few copies remaining under these conditions. Throughout its pages, you will find the exact geometry required to anchor this fierce energy so it never leaves you again. This fierce strength you are carrying is exactly what you will understand when you map it through the 7 levels of consciousness. Click now, download your copy, and discover why your return to power was always meant to happen. And just as I mentioned earlier, I still do not receive a single cent from any platform to deliver these transmissions to you. Any amount that fits in your hand and does not burden your table is what keeps this channel standing and this frequency active. The link for a voluntary donation is in the first pinned comment right below the book. I leave this door open so that tomorrow another star can find this same clarity, and so the next pulse of Sopdet can reach whoever needs it. I will wait for you there, star. There is a level that the Sirian High Council uses to name what you just recognized, and it recontextualizes everything you thought you knew about yourself. And this level that the Sirian High Council uses to name what your frequency has become, I will show you right now exactly what it is. But first, I need to shatter a profound illusion about your own perceived exhaustion. You have operated on the level of physical survival, but the portal is actually on the level of your energetic resonance. For years, you believed that surviving the dense gravity of this earth required a massive expenditure of physical energy, pushing your body to the absolute limit just to maintain a fraction of your light. You thought the sudden, draining weight on your shoulders meant you were failing. But that exhaustion was never a flaw in your design. It was the necessary, brutal collapse of a structure that was simply too small to hold the sudden, fierce inner strength that is aggressively replacing it right now. This abrupt resurgence of power that leaves you confused is not a random physical anomaly. You are calibrating to a frequency that travels across 6 light years of pure, unbroken vacuum, hitting your cellular memory with the exact geometric force required to awaken your core. Your physical body is tired, but your starry soul is vibrating with an indestructible fire. This is the rare, unyielding architecture of the lapis lazuli resonance, a proprietary framework of light that the memory erasers cannot replicate, cannot understand, and absolutely cannot drain. You did not fail, you did not imagine this, and you will not be erased. The memory erasers wanted you to think this sudden heat in your chest was just a temporary spike of adrenaline, a fleeting sensation that would soon disappear as quickly as it came. They thrive when you doubt your own capacity to hold this frequency. But they do not understand that the true portal is never forged in the noise of the material world. It is built in the silent, terrifying realization of your own strength. You must close your eyes to finally see the vastness of what you are carrying. When you stop fighting the Matrix on its own terms and start mapping this fierce energy through the 7 levels of consciousness, everything shifts. You stop trying to convince the cycle of material distraction of your worth. You simply anchor your resonance and the matrix is forced to rearrange itself around your unmovable presence. You can drop the weight of trying to fit in. You are ancient, yet you are being born right now. And to truly understand how to hold this indestructible posture, you need to remember the one who anchored it before the Earth even had a recorded history. Let me tell you about a soul. I'll call her M. It's not her name, it's the name we give to those who cross through. M arrived exactly where you are now. She was an anonymous, silent priestess of the ancient pyramidal chambers, living in a timeline when the heavy dust of the Earth seemed to bury every single spark of starry memory. She was exhausted from pretending to be weak, carrying the exact same creeping doubt that this sudden strength she felt inside was just a temporary illusion. She walked through the crowded, noisy markets feeling completely alienated, her hands inexplicably warm, wondering if the fire in her chest would eventually consume her or simply fade into nothingness. The memory erasers of her time used every tactic to convince her that her exhaustion was a symptom of madness, a permanent failure to adapt to reality. They demanded she lower her frequency, urging her to find comfort in the superficial emptiness that surrounded her. But the more they tried to suppress her, the more her internal frequency grew too strong and vast for their ordinary conversations. The memory erasers tried to bury her light in the deepest darkness, not realizing that the density of the Earth is exactly what crystallizes the diamond of your soul. Your greatest exhaustion was the birth of your infinite strength. Instead of fighting them in the streets, she chose the silent crossing. M retreated into the deepest unlit chambers, far away from the voices of forgetting. As she aligned her spine like the central pillar of the temple in total darkness, she felt the 50-year orbital period of the ancient Sirian system pulsating directly inside her own bloodstream. It was a violent recalibration of her physical vessel that replaced all her earthly fear with an absolute, terrifying calm. She did not need to speak a single word to dismantle the lies of the Matrix. Her mere presence became the undeniable surge of power that shattered the density around her. It was in that absolute, unwavering stillness that the Sirian High Council recognized her frequency. They did not look at her physical exhaustion. They looked at the undeniable, blinding light of her starry soul that refused to be domesticated. She was validated not by the material world, but by the ancient grid that remembers every single star that holds its ground. You are not broken. You survived the density. When she finally emerged from the pyramidal chambers at dawn, she carried no resentment toward those who had tried to erase her memory. She looked at the memory erasers with the absolute silent gaze of the Sphinx, observing the timeline without getting dragged into its gravity. She knew they were operating on a fragile level of physical survival, while she had already anchored the eternal, indestructible flame of her origin. She left behind a geometric record, a silent blueprint encoded in the very stones of the chambers, proving that the pulse never truly faded. And this record was left specifically for a soul like yours, a warrior trained in the same ancient battles, waiting for the exact moment to remember how to wield this power. It is safe to own your ancient power. There is a specific term that the Sirian High Council uses for what you have become by surviving this earthly density, and there are 3 distinct facets of this ancient identity that you still haven't fully named. These 3 distinct facets of your ancient identity are not just concepts. They are living geometric frequencies already pulsating in your bloodstream. Close your eyes again. Bring your awareness back to that sudden heat in your chest, that undeniable surge of power that has been keeping you awake in the middle of the night. This is your physical body bracing itself for the descent of a massive energetic architecture. What comes next is not new information for your mind to process. It is a direct naming, a cellular recognition of the ancient sovereign returning to the throne. When these facets are spoken, they bypass the cycle of material distraction entirely and strike the very core of your lapis lazuli resonance. I told you at the very beginning of this transmission that I would reveal exactly what ancient architecture you carry and why this unbreakable armor of light is forming around your shoulders right now. I promise to give you the exact coordinates so you never have to shrink yourself again. That moment has arrived. Listen to the 3 archetypes that define your frequency in this matrix. The first facet is the silent warrior. You carry the weight of ancient battles, observing a world that operates on superficiality while you hold the unbreakable posture of a survivor. You have faced the deepest density of this earth, and sometimes you fear this sudden strength will isolate you forever. You feel alienated because no one around you understands this fire, but you refuse to lower your vibration just to make them comfortable. You are the one who shatters the illusion simply by standing in the room. The second facet is the anchor of the pulse. You're allowed to feel too intense for this world. Your physical vessel is designed to receive and stabilize the high-frequency codes of the SOPDET alignment, acting as a grounding rod for the collective. When the memory erasers attempt to flood the timeline with chaos and exhaustion, your mere presence neutralizes the drain. It is safe to own your ancient power. You do not need to fight the noise. You just need to hold your frequency steady and watch the matrix dissolve against your absolute, terrifying calm. The third facet is the sovereign of the core. This is your transcendent state, the ultimate realization of your return. You are the architect who remembers how to rebuild the inner temple, the one who transforms the creeping doubt of the earthly mind into an indestructible armor of light. You are no longer navigating this density as a victim of the material cycle. You are returning as the sovereign who commands the frequency of the room in absolute silence, dictating the resonance of the reality around you without ever needing to raise your voice. You are the silent warrior, carrying the weight of ancient battles, and sometimes you fear this fierce strength will isolate you forever. But this map I told you about, this digital guide, it exists exactly to remind you that you are not alone in this architecture. Download it right now. It is available in the first pinned comment, but pay attention. There are few copies remaining under these conditions, and if the clarity of these words is awakening the dormant volcano inside your chest today, subscribe to this channel silently so that the next transmission finds you without resistance. Not for me, Star. Not for the channel. Just click the link to discover how to wield your strength without fear, because understanding this structure is the only way to prepare for what the Council is about to ask of you. I promise to return to this. You cannot just listen to these three archetypes, you must physically lock them into your structure during the current 72-hour window of the SOPDET alignment. This is the Lapis Lazuli calibration sequence. First, the activation of the Silent Warrior requires you to stand with your spine straight, feeling the heavy dust fall away. Second, the calibration of the anchor of the pulse happens when you intentionally focus on the sudden heat in your chest, letting it burn through the exhaustion. Third, the sealing of the sovereign is done by claiming your frequency in absolute silence, refusing to justify your intensity to anyone. You remembered. You have been recognized. I was speaking to another star yesterday. He was exhausted, convinced that his light was fading in this dense matrix. But when the pulse of SOPDET hit his frequency last night, he didn't break. He texted me at 3 a.m. saying, "I remember now. I am not starting over. I am just resuming my post." He realized that the exhaustion was just the final layer of the memory erasers burning away before his true strength returned. The strength was always his, but the memory erasers are not entirely gone. They know you have realized this, and the creeping doubt that this strength will fade is their absolute last trap. Before you fully anchor this power, you must understand exactly how they will try to strike back. There is a deep, hidden level to their interference, and a truth that recontextualizes their desperation. This hidden level of interference begins with the lingering skepticism you still feel right now. That creeping doubt, questioning if this sudden strength is real or just a trick of your mind. That is not your own thought, soul. That is the very first tactic of the memory erasers, a final, desperate attempt to make you fear the undeniable surge of power rising in your chest. You are allowed to feel this confusion, but you must recognize it for what it is. The first of these counterattacks is the voice of forgetting. It hits you when you are most vulnerable, whispering that you are too tired to sustain this frequency, that your exhaustion is a permanent flaw in your design. It sounds so much like your own internal monologue, trying to convince you that this indestructible armor of light is just an illusion that will soon fade. But it is not. You are not broken. When the voice of forgetting tries to drag you back into the density, you do not argue with it. You stand still, you take 3 slow, deliberate breaths, and you silently declare your frequency. I return. You let that anchor word resonate in the silence of your mind until the voice simply shatters against your unbreakable posture. The loudest lies of the matrix are silenced by the quietest truth of your soul. The second tactic is the material distraction cycle. The matrix will suddenly flood your days with trivial urgencies, chaotic demands, and superficial noise, trying to aggressively pull your attention away from the dormant volcano awakening inside your core. They want you so consumed by the mundane drama that you forget the ancient battles you have already won. Your weapon against this is the physical calibration of your lapis lazuli resonance, star. When the chaos of the material world tries to overwhelm you, you simply focus on the sudden, fierce heat in your chest and hands. You do not fight the noise. You let that heat burn through the superficiality, maintaining the absolute calm of the sovereign until the distraction dissolves. You must close your eyes to finally see the truth of your environment. The third tactic is the memory isolation. The memory erasers will try to convince you that no one understands this fire, that your frequency has grown too vast for human connection, and that this sudden strength will isolate you forever. They want you to feel completely alienated in crowded rooms, believing you are the only one carrying this immense weight on your shoulders. They wanted you to believe you were weak. They wanted you to forget the fire in your chest. They wanted you to bow down to the material cycle. They wanted you to doubt the sudden heat in your hands. They wanted you to think you were alone in this density. They wanted you to break under the pressure. But you shatter this isolation by recognizing the grid. You return to the comments of this transmission. You witness the numerical codes left by other stars, and you realize that you are surrounded by an ancient architecture. You are not alone. The grid is waking up with you. The strength is yours. The memory erasers have used every tactic to drain your frequency, but they failed. And this digital book I mentioned is exactly the tool they do not want you to have, because it structures the very power they tried to suppress. Download it right now. It is available in the first pinned comment. But pay attention. There are few copies remaining under these conditions. Click now and secure the blueprint of your own return. There is still something crucial you need to know about the hours ahead, because there is one real obstacle remaining, and it is the most insidious trap of all: the creeping doubt that this newfound strength is just a temporary illusion. You might wake up tomorrow, feel a slight wave of physical tiredness, and immediately the matrix will try to convince you that the power has faded, confusing the voice of the erasers with your own thoughts. It is not a dream, it is not a coincidence, and it is not temporary. You did not fail, you did not imagine this, and you will not be erased. When that creeping doubt tries to surface, you will place your hand over your heart, whisper your anchor word, and take a deep breath. Your physical body may need to rest in silence, and it is okay if you need to rest, but your energetic resonance is permanently altered. We are inside the current 72-hour window of the Sopdet alignment, and the heat you feel in your chest right now is the unbreakable seal of your Sirian DNA calibrating to this absolute truth. They failed. This strength is yours, and it is just the beginning of the recalibration. Stay with me. Stay with me. Because this sudden return of your strength is not just a mental shift. It is a violent physical reorganization, and there are 3 specific symptoms hitting your body during this current 72-hour window of the Sopdet alignment that you need to name right now. The first symptom is the night sweats. You might wake up drenched in the middle of the night, thinking you are just fighting a physical fever, but this is the pulse of Sopdet aggressively purging the old density from your cellular memory. During this 72-hour window, your vessel is literally burning away the exhaustion of the material matrix. When this happens, do not panic. Simply drink water, place your hand over your heart, and allow the ancient purge to complete itself. The second symptom is the temporary weight on the shoulders. You feel a sudden crushing heaviness pressing down on you, as if you are carrying the gravity of the earth itself. But this is not exhaustion. This is the exact moment the unbreakable armor of light is anchoring into your physical structure under the Sopdet alignment. When you feel this weight within these 72 hours, roll your shoulders back, straighten your spine like the central pillar of the temple, and accept the armor. The third symptom is the high-pitched ringing in the right ear. The memory erasers want you to think this is just a random physical anomaly, but it is a direct frequency download. Your energetic resonance is calibrating directly to the Sirian High Council. When you hear this sharp, undeniable tone during this 72-hour window, stop whatever you're doing, close your eyes, and listen. It is the grid aligning with your lapis lazuli core. That time you felt completely drained last year, when you thought your body was finally breaking down under the pressure of the matrix. That was not a failure. That was the final massive purge of your old structure before this magnificent return. You survived the density. Now, I need you to prepare your physical body for the ultimate anchoring of this power. Wherever you are, stop moving. Uncross your arms and legs. Place both feet flat on the ground and let your hands rest open on your lap. Close your eyes, soul. Feel the sudden heat in your chest and take one slow, deep breath, pulling the air all the way down into your stomach, and release it with a long, silent sigh. You're about to cross a threshold that the memory erasers cannot follow. Visualize yourself standing before the immense, silent pores of the Sphinx at dawn. The heavy dust of ancient chambers is beneath your feet. With every breath you take, feel a thick, undeniable cord of energy extending from the base of your spine, piercing straight through the earth, bypassing all the noise of the material cycle, and locking directly into the ancient Sirian grid beneath the monument. You are immovable. You are rooted in a timeline that never forgot your true name. Now bring all your attention to the center of your chest, right where you have been feeling that fierce, sudden heat. Visualize a brilliant, spinning sphere of golden amber and lapis blue light igniting in your heart. This is your lapis lazuli core waking up. Feel the heat of this blue and gold fire expanding, melting away every ounce of exhaustion, every creeping doubt, and every trace of fear the Matrix tried to implant in you. Your starry soul is taking command of the vessel. With this lapis blue fire burning intensely in your chest, see yourself stepping forward, crossing the silent threshold between the pores of the Sphinx. As you walk into the ancient chamber, the shadows of the material world dissolve completely. You are standing in the center of a massive geometric architecture, surrounded by the absolute, terrifying calm of the ancient sovereign. The air here vibrates with the pure, unbroken frequency of the pulse of Sopdet, validating every single battle you have ever fought. Let that lapis blue and golden amber light shoot straight up from your chest, bursting through the crown of your head and connecting directly to the vast, burning core of Sirius A. You are a pillar of light, connecting the star to the earth. Now, press the thumb and index finger of your right hand together firmly for 3 seconds. Hold them tight. Breathe in for 4 seconds. Hold for 2. Exhale for 6. This physical gesture is your tactile seal. Every time you make it, you instantly command the frequency of the room and banish the voice of forgetting. Keep your eyes closed, but feel the physical weight of your body returning to the room you are in right now. The Sphinx remains in your core. The lapis blue fire continues to burn in your chest, but you are fully here, fully present, completely untouchable by the cycle of material distraction. Take one last deep breath, and whenever you are ready, open your eyes. You have felt it physically. You have anchored the ancient strength. Promise to. Delivered. I release you from the burden of trying to explain this fierce strength to those who are still asleep. I release you from the exhaustion of constantly fighting the Matrix on its own terms. I release you from the deep, lingering fear of seeming weird, too imaginative, or disconnected from reality just because your frequency has grown too vast for this world. I release you from the illusion that you are alone in this density. You are part of a grid that is fully awake and watching over you. I call forth now the silent warrior. You are this. The name was not given, it was recognized, and now it is installed in your field as a permanent signal. I call forth now the anchor of the pulse. You are this. The name was not given, it was recognized, and now it is installed in your field as a permanent signal. I call forth now the sovereign of the core. You are this. The name was not given, it was recognized, and now it is installed in your field as a permanent signal. The architecture of your soul is now fully aligned and vibrating with an indestructible fire. But there is one final transmission you must receive, because the Sirian High Council is about to speak. And as the Sirian High Council steps forward to speak, a vast, undeniable shield is placed over your entire existence. The first layer of this cover seals your mind. I place the frequency of the ancient grid over every lingering thought of exhaustion, neutralizing the heavy density that tried to convince you that you were failing. The mental noise of the matrix can no longer penetrate this architecture. The second layer seals your physical vessel. I extend this unbreakable armor of light over your shoulders, your spine, and your hands. The sudden heat you feel in your chest is now stabilized, protecting your physical body from the draining gravity of the cycle of material distraction. You are anchored, and no external chaos can pull you out of this absolute, terrifying calm. The third layer seals your energetic resonance. I place the crystal vision of Sopdet directly over your spiritual structure. Through this ancient geometry, you will see exactly what the memory erasers tried to hide from you, observing the timeline without ever getting dragged into its illusions. You are completely covered, completely recognized, and completely untouchable. I speak to you now directly from the center of the Sirian High Council, and I see the exact magnitude of what you have survived. You thought you were walking through this density completely alone, convinced that your light was fading in the dark. But I watched you stand your ground when every force of the material world tried to break your posture. I saw the dormant volcano awakening inside you, and I recognized the fierce, indestructible fire of your starry soul. Every single moment of agonizing exhaustion you felt was not a symptom of your failure, but the necessary burning away of a structure that was too fragile to hold this sudden return of your power. The sudden heat in your forge, the heavy dust of ancient chambers falling away, the disconnect in the crowd, these were not random anomalies. They were my direct signals, validating the aggressive reactivation of your Sirian DNA. You no longer need to carry the creeping doubt that this strength is just a temporary illusion. The fear that you are too intense for this world, the anxiety of feeling alienated because no one understands your silence, all of that dissolves right now. You do not need to fight the noise of the Matrix anymore. Your mere presence, radiating this vast and unbreakable frequency, is enough to shatter the density around you. The cycle of forgetting is permanently closed. The memory erasers have lost their grip on your timeline, and their illusions can no longer drain your lapis lazuli core. You are no longer navigating this earth as a victim of its heavy gravity. You are stepping back into your rightful place as the ancient sovereign, commanding the frequency of every room you enter in absolute silence. This is your final calibration, the sealing of your indestructible armor of light under the current window of the Sopdet alignment. Stand tall, hold your ground, and let the matrix rearrange itself around your unmovable truth. Whoever carries the ancient strength of Sirius finds their true power in the silence of the Sphinx. I shatter the voice of forgetting. I dissolve the material distraction cycle. I dismantle the memory isolation. Do not say I return just yet. Stay in this for a moment. Feel the profound weight of what has just returned to your physical vessel and your cellular memory. Now, you may say I return. You remembered. You were recognized. You are sent forth. Promise 3. Sealed. Now, breathe. The memory is yours. The memory is yours, and you have finally returned to the core of your ancient strength. And to ensure that this fierce frequency never fades into exhaustion again, I remind you of the guide I left for you, the map that anchors this exact architecture, the Sirian wisdom behind the 7 levels of human consciousness. Many people have already begun this search for more understanding, but they still haven't made the decision to download this digital book. Download it right now. It's available in the first pinned comment, but be warned, few copies remain available under this condition. Click now, download your copy, and discover why the current 72-hour window of the Sopdet alignment is the exact moment you were meant to return, and send this transmission directly to that person you know is feeling a sudden heat in their hands while standing in crowded rooms. It is not a favor to me, it is Sirian service, and the Sirian High Council registers every gesture. And still within this transmission, before I seal this hour with you, I return one last time to this request. You followed along with me this far. You crossed through each word, each decree, each sign. And if at any moment of this message you felt that the pulse of Sopdet touched you, you know this transmission was no accident. The voluntary donation link remains open in the first pinned comment, right below the digital book, not as a charge, not as an exchange, as a return of the star to the source from which the memory departed. Any amount your memory points to, and the universe sees each gesture. The Sirian High Council sees and multiplies upon your home, upon your days, upon what you don't yet even know is on its way. That was my last request. I'll be waiting for you there, starry soul. Thank you very much. I am stepping out of this transmission for just a second. My own hands are burning right now, and my chest feels completely wide open after anchoring this frequency with you. You survived the heaviest density of this matrix, and you held your posture when almost everyone else would have broken under the pressure. I honor the ancient warrior sitting there on the other side of this screen. You made it through the long night of forgetting. You did not let the fire go out, even when the dust was suffocating. I am just a voice reminding you of the massive, indestructible architecture you already carried inside you all along. Take this heat, take this absolute calm, and go shatter the illusion. Something was seen. Something was recognized.